Welcome to the Nobody Asked podcast, where once a week, Sam dives deep into the emotional roller coaster that comes with being in your 20s. Get ready to discuss relatable struggles and hear her perspective on relevant topics that, seriously, nobody asked for.
Hey bitches, welcome back to the Nobody Asked podcast. I'm your host, Sam. If you didn't see last week's episode, I have started releasing video episodes. It won't be for every episode, but it will be pretty often, and I'm pretty excited about it because I am a video podcast person. Any of the podcasts that I listen to that have a video version, I tend to watch those unless I'm driving, but even at that, sometimes I still watch them while I drive, and I'm just gonna pretend like my grandma didn't hear me say that. But I don't actually watch it. It's just on my dashboard, and if they happen to be oh, and look at the screen, I can pause it then, and then as soon as I'm at a red light, unpause and watch it. But we're gonna pretend I didn't say that. So yeah. Well, I hope everybody had a fantastic Christmas and holiday season if Christmas isn't what you celebrate. I hope you guys spent a lot of time with your family. I know that I definitely did. And I hope you got a lot of good things and gave a lot of good things and just had a great holiday week, season. I guess weekend, because it's on it's weird that Christmas is a weekend. But regardless, I just hope that it was good. And I hope it was refreshing maybe. And I know a lot of people are off this week between Christmas and New Year's. So I hope if you are off, it is the refresh that you needed after the holiday craziness and after this entire year. And hopefully we can all go into next year feeling very motivated and a lot better. But on the topic of next year and going into the new year feeling refreshed, this episode is going to be kind of just a quick 2022 recap and then a 2023 goals going into next year. So I just realized when I sat down that I only wrote out my goals for next year and I didn't actually plan out or write a recap. So bear with me for the fact that I am always a hot mess, but I'm sure if you listen to this podcast, you're used to that. But okay, let's recap 2022. I don't know. I know everyone this year has been saying this is the worst year of their life. But I don't know, I felt pretty good about it. I kind of feel like it was a good year for me overall. I think there were a lot of moments, but yeah, I don't know. I do think that overall it was a pretty good year. A lot happened. I think in terms of going places and doing things, I could have done better. But I think in regards to taking care of myself, finding myself, and figuring that stuff out, this was one of the best years I've had in a while. I've definitely been more social before. This year was not a social butterfly year. But I don't know, I think I got a lot of things done this year that I needed to do and that I've been kind of putting off. I think I've done a lot of things that I needed to do to take care of myself. So I guess we'll just talk about that. Some highlights of the year. I got my first big kid job at the beginning of the year. So that happened at the end of January and I started in February. So that right there is enough to be it was a good year, because looking for a job fucking sucks. So the fact that I got one this year is enough to say that 2022 was fucking fantastic. But I also like my job, so I think that is something to be proud of, because I know that's not everybody's situation. And then, let's see, my cousin, I was the maid of honor in her wedding this year, so in April we had her bridal shower, and it was beautiful. It was everything I envisioned it to be, and everything I wanted her to have, so I think that was good. We went on her bachelorette party in May, which was exciting, because I've never been to Nashville and that's where we went. So that was really fun. And obviously it was really fun to celebrate her getting married. And then I went camping a bunch, which was great because I feel like this was kind of this year and last year were kind of my getting back into loving nature years, if that makes sense. Like the peace and quiet and like laying in my hammock and drawing and, doing that whole thing. So I think that was good this year. I don't know if you would call this a flop or like a positive, but I got my tonsils out in June, which was both the best and worst thing to happen to me. In terms of surgery and recovery, it was awful. Tony was genuinely afraid that I was going to die. And I low-key was too. And opioids are not a joke. I don't ever want to be on any kind of medication like that ever again. It was not a good time. But I've also had strep and throat problems pretty much as long as I've been able to talk. So, it was definitely a positive in terms of I finally got them out and I've been needing to get them out forever. So I think in that aspect it was great, but the recovery was awful. And to be honest, I think it takes like a year to recover fully. I still lose my voice all the time. I'm sure you guys know if you listen regularly, I sound different very often. So in that sense, it still is like an ongoing journey, but overall it was worth it. Not that anybody like young listens to my podcast. I feel like it's mostly people my age or like older even. But if you need to get your tonsils out and you're any younger than 24, get them out now, because when they tell you every year that you're older makes it worse. Like, it was pure utter hell to get them out as an adult. So I wish I would have sucked it up and got them out in high school or even like 8th grade when I should have, because I think I would have healed much, much faster and not been so close to death. So, and it sounds so dramatic to say I almost died, but like, I didn't actually almost die, but it really looked shady for a minute there. So in that aspect, it was not good. Okay, anyways, so after I got my tonsils out, I was sick for like pretty much at home for like 15 days. Then I went back to work. Then I was off work again after like 2 weeks because of my cousin's wedding. And then we were out of town on the week after her wedding. We went out of town for like a family vacation thing. Like, we just go camping. But so we spent the whole week at my cabin, and that was really nice. Then I came back. Work was really busy in July. Like, good busy, but also like I'm gonna jump busy. So it was rough, but it was my first like summer working all the events and like doing the marketing stuff. And the other marketing girl was on maternity leave, so it was just me, which was like both good and bad. Like, I mean, it's fine. It's fun to work together, but also it was like fun to kind of experience that alone and like do it all by myself for the first time and like figure it out. And it was just a good time, but it did require a lot of weekends and it was exhausting. So then I feel like August I was pretty low key overall because that was a lot. Oh, and my birthday's at the end of July. So we went out for that. I went out in August for my, like, basically she's like my sister, but she's like a family friend. But we went out for her birthday because she's the last one to turn 21. And then I don't think I did anything worth talking about in September. Let me think. Oh, you know what? In September is when I started my journey of trying to get possibly diagnosed with ADHD, which I ended up getting diagnosed with ADHD, but I obviously didn't know going into it that that's what was going to happen. So I started that in September. I had my appointment in October, and then I got put on medication in October. And that was like hands down the best thing that happened to me this year, was figuring that out and getting treatment for it. And then not much really else happened the rest of the year. We had a big Halloween party. That was a lot of fun. I will say, I think it was September or October, I had a few cavities from college and like just not being the best at taking care of things. And I got those fixed in, I want to say September. And you like, if you know me, you probably have noticed, but I had one like kind of right on one of my front teeth, but like up by my gums. So you really couldn't see it unless I was like full smiling. But I didn't even realize how much it affected me and like how much I didn't smile in like pictures and like didn't take selfies. And like, I just like felt like I slowly became not a picture person because of it. And then once I got that fixed and like just saw my teeth like looking the best they've looked in a long time, I feel like that gave me so much self-confidence back. And I think also getting treated for ADHD, if you didn't listen to my last episode, that's what it was about. And I talk a lot about the way that ADHD makes you feel, like in terms of self-esteem, self-worth, confidence. So if you didn't watch that episode, I would go back and watch or listen to that, because I think it probably was relatable whether you have ADHD or not, because the confidence issues, I think, happen to people for a number of reasons. But overall, I think this like second half of the year, especially like kind of like August, September to now, is kind of when I started to like myself again. And I think this year in general, I've liked who I am because I did a lot of work last year trying to get myself to a place where I liked the person I was. And I definitely took the like figure out the inside before the outside approach. So I think like emotionally, personality wise, morals, like all of that stuff, I really focused on that last year and then at the very beginning of this year. But I feel like physical stuff, like I started going to the gym again. I've been doing like the hair oil treatments, whitening my teeth. I got my cavities fixed. I got my tonsils out even. Like, I just feel like so many things physically that I was like neglecting, I guess, were getting done. And then like on top of not like neglecting my self-care, but I wasn't making time to take care of myself. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't making time to do the hair oil treatments when I know that I have oily hair and it like gets out of control when I'm not doing that. And I wasn't like making the time to like actually wash my face every night and like do my full skincare. Like, I was just kind of like washing my face if I had makeup on, but not like actually just washing the oil and like dirt on my face from the day. And obviously I know that's kind of gross and I'm being very like raw and honest, but that's what I do on this podcast. So please don't judge me because I know a lot of people probably relate that it's happened to them. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like in general, like all around, I just started to like take care of myself this year and like love myself and like fall back in love with like how I look and like taking pride in putting makeup on and like, I don't know, just like not letting myself go, I guess. And I think that's been so nice. And I kind of like already dipped my toe into like so many things that I'm going to talk about that are my like 2023 goals. Because I'm really not, well, I used to be a person that definitely believed in like, okay, well, it's October and I have all these things I want to change, so I'll just keep doing what I'm doing until December. And then when January hits, I'll just 180 my whole life. And like, I've just noticed that doesn't work. And I'm sure I'm not the only person that said that. But it just doesn't. Like, it's the same concept of like, it's Friday and you're like, I want to start going back to the gym. I'm going to go Monday. It just doesn't work like that for me. And like, you're lucky if it does, because that's great, but it just doesn't for me. So pretty much as soon as I've decided this year that I wanted something to change, I just started trying to change it. So a lot of what I'm about to say for like my goals, I feel like is stuff I'm already kind of doing and like that I kind of mentioned already, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think you need to go into every year with an entirely new set of goals and like completely 180 your life. I think as long as you're already on the track you want to be on, like implementing small things, the new year I think gives you a good motivation to kind of like reevaluate your goals. But I do think you should be setting goals and like new, like reevaluating every month, every like half a year. But I do think, again, that like the beginning of the year is just the perfect time to reevaluate what you actually want and like reflect on last year. But I don't think you have to wait until January 1st to start. So if some of it's repetitive, that's why. Trying to think if there's any other takeaways from 2022 before I go on to the goals. I think one thing I will say is I didn't do this the whole year, but at some point, I don't even know when it really switched in my brain, but I feel like I really focused on prioritizing like my quality time with Tony. And if you're new, that's my boyfriend. We've been together it'll be 4 years in the spring of 2023. But we spend a lot of time together. Like, if you're somebody that knows us, you're probably like, okay, when were you guys not prioritizing that? Because we spend so much time together. Everyone genuinely loves and enjoys being with, like, their person. But, like, we really are, like, best friends. We get along. We have all the same, like, interests. We do everything together. But I feel like we did at some point in, like, the busyness of, like, me getting a job. He owns his own business. I feel like there was a point this year at the beginning where we weren't, like we were spending time together, but we weren't spending quality time together. Because we're both kind of, like, workaholics. With, like, him owning his own business. I have, like, a 9-to-5 job, but then I also have the podcast, which I didn't have all year, but I also have a small business. So I just feel like we've both been very busy this year, which is great, but we were, like, sitting in the same room doing similar things, but, like, not really actually, like, emotionally connecting as much. And, like, that didn't change anything. Like, we were still just as in love and, like, happy. But I just felt like we normally are the people that, like, spend a lot of quality time together. So I think it was just, like, again, like I said, like, I think we were just working out, like, all the changes that were happening. Like, we had graduated the year before, and, like, I was looking for a job. He was working. I was working a weird retail schedule, and then, like, obviously I got my job at the beginning of the year. But that also came with, like, a lot to figure out, like, time-wise and scheduling, because so many, like, events and stuff over the summer were on the weekends, and then I had a lot of wedding stuff. So I just think we were trying to, like, find our groove in all of the new things that were happening. But I feel like we did find that groove by the end of this year, and I just love knowing that, like, going into next year, it's not, like, on the top of my list to be like, we need to figure that out, because we already did. And I don't know, I'm just happy we did, because obviously we've been getting along and, like, happy the whole time. But I didn't realize how much I needed that quality time with him, and, like, actual, like, laughs and playing games and, like, just, like, playing video games on the couch and, like, just spending time together where we weren't so focused on, like, design stuff and work and, like, both of our careers and, like, our future goals. Like, sometimes I just think you need to be young and stupid and, like, get wine drunk on the couch and play games, and we weren't doing that. And I think, like, date nights, wine nights, game nights has just been really great. And I don't know, I'm just happy. I mean, I've been happy all year, but I don't know, it's just nice to feel like every time we see each other, like when he's here for the whole weekend, at least one of those days we're, like, emotionally progressing our relationship. So I think it's just been really nice. But I think that's, like, the main thing. That and, like, falling in love with myself and, like, the peace and quiet and, like, simplicity of life, I think, are the biggest takeaways for me this year. And I also have always been a person that romanticizes their life, but I'm living in a fucking Hallmark movie anymore, and it's the best thing I've ever done. Like, truly the best thing that has ever happened to me. I, like, overly romanticize everything I'm doing, and, like, maybe that's not everybody's jam, and that's annoying to some people, and that's fine, but it makes, like, small everyday life things just, like, so much more bearable. And, like, I don't know, it just makes me enjoy life more, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know, it's just been really nice to like who I am and enjoy life a little bit, because I think I was taking life far too seriously for being 24. So I think that's something that's definitely on my list for next year, is to take, like, the things that should be taken seriously like still take those seriously, but I think in general I could lighten up a little bit. And I think I started to do that this year, and I'm excited to see how that translates into next year. Okay. Oh, you know what? I have one more good thing from 2022, then we'll be done. I think the fact that I started the podcast this year is just something to note. Not that, like, I mean, I knew, like, all year I wanted to do it, and I didn't do it till, like, the ending half of the year, so I, like, want to be upset about that, but I also don't know that I was emotionally ready to do it when I wanted to do it, so I'm kind of happy that I ended up waiting. But I don't know. I know I, like, have, like, 5 people that regularly listen, like, the week it comes out, and then it kind of, like, grows slowly from there, like, the next few weeks, which is fine. Like, I don't listen to every podcast that I listen to every single week either. But, like, basically, I appreciate who is here, but I do know that it's small, and, like, that is just realistic that it is small right now. But I don't know, I just feel like this is going to be something that in, like, 10 years or 5 years or even 2 years, I'm, like, so happy I finally got the balls to do it. So, for that reason, I just want to say thank you for everything, every listen, every download, every repost, ever this year, because it means everything to me, and I've wanted to do this for so long, and I don't know, I'm just proud of myself that I finally grew a pair of balls and decided to do it. So thank you. Okay, let's get into 2023, because when you're listening to this, I think we're like 2 or 3 days away. Actually, I think we're 3 days away when you're listening to this. So let's just jump right in. Okay, so let's get into the 2023 goals. I do have a video that's live only on my YouTube channel, so you can't listen to it on Apple or Spotify. There's no podcast version of it because it is pretty much like it's pretty much all visual. But I do have a YouTube video that's on the podcast channel right now that just kind of like breaks down my goals even more, because I'm kind of showing you how to make like a digital mood board, which I know isn't like anything revolutionary, and I'm sure everybody knows how to make one. But I was going to do the thing where you like print stuff out and like glue it onto a board, but I don't want to use all my ink. So if you want to go check that video out and see like my mood board and like what I did, that is on my YouTube channel right now if you want to go watch it. But if not, that's totally fine. But you could definitely listen to this episode or watch this episode and still watch that, because that one, again, is much more visual based than just like me telling you the goals. Like, I'm just going to tell you my goals right now, but that's kind of like a way to visually manifest them. So if that's your jam, I would go watch that video. Okay, let's jump in. I have 10 like big categories and then like some little subpoints kind of broken down in there. So if you're on the video version and you see me keep looking down, I'm looking at my screen so I don't miss anything. But yeah. Okay. First, they're not in any order because this isn't the most important one. But first I have finding my style. And, like, I do think, like I said, this year I kind of have started to find, like, the style that I like. But I think I'm still, like, on that journey, and it's still fairly new. So I think for me, like, things with, like, sub-goals in that would be, like, clothes that feel like me. And, like, that flatter my body type. And, like, make me feel comfortable. And, like, cute still, because I think there's a difference between clothes that are comfortable but then like you might look homeless in them, which is fine, but like I just think I need to find a balance between looking cute but not wanting to go home 10 minutes later because I'm uncomfy, but then also not showing up homeless just to be comfortable. So I think that's like important for this year. And then I have a really high arch and most shoes are not comfortable for me. So I pretty much wear like Uggs, Crocs, and Birkenstocks. And then, that like rhymed kind of. I don't know. That was like a vibe, but I didn't mean for it to be. But that's pretty much all I wear. And then like Converse. So I definitely have on my list this year to find shoes that are cute, but don't murder my feet, because there really is no in between for me. So I'm hoping to like find that. We're manifesting shoes that are really stylish that don't make me want to die. I didn't put this on my list, but it's definitely like mentally on my list. But I need to find like bras this year that fit me and are like comfortable, but like also support like a bigger-ish chest. I don't have like huge boobs, and I mean, I don't ever wear anything that even kind of shows them, so you're probably like, what boobs? But I do have like actually kind of big boobs, especially for like my body type. But I feel like I either wear bras that are comfortable, which is lovely. We love that. But then, like, I feel like my boobs kind of hurt, like, at the end of the day, or, like, after a day or two of wearing, like, not comfortable bras, or comfortable but not supportive bras. And then I just feel like my boobs kind of hurt, and, like, they're sore because they're not being properly supported. But then, like, when I wear, like, real bras, I hate it. Like, every single bit of it. So I'm trying to find, like, a happy medium this year. So if you're, like, medium to large boobs, but not, like, crazy big. Like, I have like averagely big boobs, but not compared to like people that have like huge boobs. You know what I mean? So if you're like kind of there and you have a similar body type to me and you also like a comfy bra, let me know, please, because I'm on a hunt this year. Okay. Enough about my boobs. So sorry. The next category I have is like life position. I don't really know, like, I couldn't think of a good way to like word that, but like basically like where I'm at in life, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So for that, I just have like that I want to continue to like save and like possibly be able to move out by the end of next year, like the beginning of the year after that. I'm not in any rush to move out, to be honest, so I'm not even like, that's why I didn't put like move out this year, because it doesn't necessarily have to be that. I just want to be in a place where like when I'm ready, I can. So, you know, just continuing to save and like work on that stuff, and like even working on my skills that like I'll need when I move out. Like, and I'll talk about that, some of that stuff later. And then I do probably need to look into getting a new car next year. Not that I necessarily have to, but my car is very old and I drive a good bit for my job. So it would be really not, like, it would not be good at all if my car just like breaks down, which it's super old, so it very well could. So I just want to like work on being in a place where like I either get a new car before that happens, or I'm like ready to be able to buy the car I would want when that happens, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I just don't want to feel pressured into like buying a car that I don't like because I didn't save enough and like I wasn't ready. So I'm hoping, optimistic, to be able to be in a good place when that happens. Okay. And then this one kind of is very similar to what I just said, but like just financially altogether is its own category. And so for that, I have like less shopping in general. And I don't, like, I know I just said I need to find my style. And I don't even think that like I plan to stop buying clothes next year, because I don't have a lot that I actually like feel good in and like to wear. But I think in general, I want to like thrift more or like repurpose stuff more. And then also, if I'm gonna buy it, I want it to be something that like I can, like a staple piece. I think that's what I need to do, is like focus on shopping for like my like base like staple wardrobe, instead of like buying these weird crazy pieces that I'm gonna wear once and then not want to wear again. So I think I just need more basics. If I'm gonna buy stuff, it needs to be basics. I need to stop like crazy shopping. And then I do have a lot of like career goals for next year financially, but like they're very specific to my actual job, so I'm not going to go into like those details because that's not professional at all. And then I want to continue to build my savings account. I want to like grow my side hustles more, which like is like my small business, and then hopefully one day this podcast can be like No, I don't even care if the podcast is profitable, to be honest. I just do it because I want like the community of it, which I'll talk about later. And then just like overall being less impulsive with like money and purchases. And I think like I said in the last episode, my ADHD medicine has really helped with like the impulse control. So I'm just hoping to continue that next year. And then I kind of already talked about this, but like I said, I want to focus on my self-care like I have been already at the ending half of this year. And like big goals for me in that category would be like weekly oil treatments. And I have like the blonde light pieces added to my hair, and I'm actually getting it dyed tomorrow. So the next episode, well, I don't know, I pre-film, so maybe not. But eventually you will see me with all dark hair again. And I'm really hoping that going back to like a dark color with no bleach will help me kind of get my hair strength back, because I do that every time. I dye my hair like a weird color and I bleach it, and then it's like dead, and then I go back to like dark brown, and then it finally gets healthy again, and then I do it all over again. So let's manifest that I don't do that, but we'll see. But either way, I'm hoping to like get the strength back in my hair. And I'm also hoping to train my hair to be able to go longer between washes, because I have extremely oily hair. So hopefully being more consistent on like the oil treatments and like my hair care routine in general will help, because when I have been consistent, like in October, I was really consistent. It was like getting a lot better, and then I kind of fell off again. So I'm hoping that like I can be consistent and kind of train it to get back to where it used to be. And then same thing for skin. I have really oily skin, so I'm trying to work on that and like figure out what can fix that and like how to manage it. And then this goes really closely with wanting to manage my oils. I had so many products that I loved like 5 years ago, like when I started college. But I don't have the same skin. I don't have the same lifestyle, the same like routine, like nothing. So I need to just like let go of those products that worked for me 5 years ago and like accept that like they are no longer the holy grail that they were 5 years ago. And that's fine. But now I need to find new products that are in fact my holy grails. So if you got a good foundation for oily skin, let a bitch know, because that's the number one issue. That, and all of a sudden, I know that they say you age like at 25, like it's just downhill, and I think that's rude, but people have said that to me multiple times. And I'm not even 25 yet. I'm like 24 and a half. But like if they're like maybe they're right, because I'm not even kidding. I turned 24 and it's like the next day. I don't even know. My under eyes have never had more wrinkles in my life, and my concealer will not stop setting like in the lines, and I don't know how to fix that. So I used to be good at makeup, but I think when I decided to fall off the wagon, the entire game changed, and I have no idea now. So someone please tell me what concealer to buy if you have oily skin and aggressive under eye wrinkles for being 24. So thanks. But yeah, anyways, sorry for that ramble. I just need to find products I love again. Anyways, and then for body stuff, I was just kind of want to be more active in general, and then like be better with my vitamins. I've gotten really good this year at taking pills. Like I could never be trusted to take my birth control before, and ever since I got back on it, I'm doing fantastic. And then obviously I take my Adderall every day. So pills, I'm doing great. Vitamins though, specifically, absolutely not. Take them once every 2 months, and it's like, what's the point? That didn't do anything for me. So hopefully I can be better at that. And then I'm also trying to kind of do more research on reflexology, but like I've been doing a lot already, and I got like the little like metal tools that they all have on TikTok, and I don't know. It's too new for me to talk about it much, but it has been helping with my headaches and like sinus drainage. I don't know why that was so hard to say. So for that reason, I think it's great, but I'm interested to see like what else I can do with it. Oh, and I want to start tracking like what my body does and doesn't like, if that makes sense. Like kind of maybe a spreadsheet is what I'm thinking. Maybe I'll do a video like on the YouTube channel showing that. But I just want to like figure out like what foods trigger my migraines, or like what makes me feel super bloated, and like just stuff like that, because I'm really sensitive to sugar and I have not the greatest diet, so I don't think that's been going well for me. And then relationships. I spend a lot of time with my family, so I really don't have any family goals. We've always spent a lot of time together, and I think that'll always continue. But I did put for Tony, I put like that hopefully we're planning to travel next year together, because we really haven't went anywhere like crazy other than like camping and stuff together, because we were in college most of that time, and neither of our families do like a yearly vacation. So we're planning like a just us trip, just the two of us next year. So yeah, I'm hoping to travel with him. He's never been on a plane, so I'm excited to maybe be with him the first time he goes on a plane. And then just like continue to plan and save for our future, and like prioritize our quality time, like I already talked about, so I won't get too deep into that. Okay, and next I would say social media was my next category. And I have this one broken down into a few different things, so I'll be quick. But as far as the podcast, I don't even care, like, if this makes money. I don't care if it becomes, like, obviously I would love for it to hit, like, the #1 podcast episode on Spotify, like, one time this year. But obviously I realize this is, like, I'm only a few episodes in, so realistically that's, like, kind of a reach. But obviously I'm hoping. But more importantly than it like getting big and like famous, I don't even care about that. I just want to find like a community, even if it's like 30 people. I just want like a little community of people that like relate to what I'm saying, and like we can comment back and forth, and like, I don't know, just kind of like have our own little unit that like we're similar. We have a lot in common. You know what I mean? Like we talk about, like we're going through a lot of the same things. So I guess that's my biggest goal, is to just use this to build like a little community of like-minded people. And then I definitely want to be more dedicated and consistent. Don't hold me to that. I'm really trying. But I don't know. I think it's going to be fine. But yeah, so I want to be more like dedicated and consistent to like a schedule. And then I also want to start having more guests, whether it's like my family or friends, or eventually I'd like to get to the point where it's like people that I don't know super well that are just coming on to be on it. And then, you know, hopefully in a year or two we can get to the point where it's like people I don't even know that I just like or admire. But again, very optimistic. I realize that. And then I just want to continue to talk about like important things that like I think need talked about more, and that like I have a lot to say on. And this is like a techie thing, but I want to start editing on a better program with more capabilities, because I'm literally a graphic designer and I use iMovie, and it's sad, which iMovie's fine, but like there's so many other things that like I literally know how to use, but just am too lazy to do. So I'm hoping that like I can pre-film a lot and then be able to like edit better because I have more time. And then as far as like my personal like TikTok and Instagram, as far as the Instagram goes, I just want to get more comfortable with taking photos and like being creative with it again, because I used to be that person. And then, like I said, I just kind of had an era where I like wasn't as confident and as much of a picture person. So I'm hoping to kind of get back to that. And then as far as like TikTok, I obviously have my podcast TikTok and my small business one. And then I have a personal one. And my personal one is my favorite to post on. So I just want to continue to like post on that and like enjoy it and share like my life and things I buy and like art and stuff like that, and just like relate to people. And then obviously I would like to be able to grow a little community on there. And then YouTube, I used to make YouTube videos in college. I pretty much started like my very first year of college, and like here and there made them all 5 years that I was in college. And then I just kind of stopped, and I like went through a crisis when I graduated, and I made like a I'm back video, and then I deleted the entire channel. So it's like, what was the point of that? Yeah, so I don't know, I loved it though. I've always loved YouTube. Like, I grew up on YouTube, not like me as a YouTuber, but like I grew up being obsessed with like Jaclyn Hill, Manny MUA, Nicole Guerrero, Laura Lee, like they're old YouTubers. And I've just always loved YouTube, and I've always felt like it was something I could be good at if I like actually put the effort into it. So if you know me and you've known me this entire time, you're like, I think every December and January, I'm like, I'm going to be a YouTuber, and then I'm not. And then I fuck it up. But I have more hopes this year. Maybe it's the Adderall, but I have hope. So I'm going to start posting again because I miss it and I loved it before, and I think I could love it again. And then with that, I just need to be more consistent and like make content that I actually want to make. I need to wrap it up fast. Oh, small business. So I have an Etsy. Oh, I had an Etsy shop, and then I moved to my own website. And then you can probably see, if you're on the video version, you can see this cup I'm holding that has all my stickers on it that I made. Let me get that back on a screen. But I used to love it. When I started my Etsy shop, it was like my burning passion. And then I don't know if I think I just got to the point where I made it in college. It was like my only income really. And I think I got to the point where like I was making things just for them to sell, not because I wanted to or because I like felt strongly about it or like felt creative about it. So I want to get to the point where I either am putting more time into it and like trying to refresh and find that love for it again. And like I do find that love for it, or I think I need to accept that that was an era of my life and I need to move on and close the shop and focus my time on other things. So I'm interested to see what I decide to do this year, but I do think I need to give it a fair chance before I make that decision. And then as far as mental health, I just want to focus this year on like tracking my like ADHD progress and like kind of like a mental health tracker in general, just to kind of get a better understanding of like what triggers it and like how I'm doing on my medication, especially because I'm about to go up a dose, like I said in my last episode. So I'm really just gonna try to like listen to my body and like pay attention to what is and isn't changing. And then I do start therapy. What's today? I would have already started it by the time you see this. So I started therapy, and I'm gonna try to continue that into next year and see where that journey takes me. So expect an episode in a few months about that. And then overall, I think mental health wise, I just need to continue to give myself like the peace and space to process and like feel all of my emotions. And I'm really good at letting myself feel my emotions. And like, you know what I mean? If I need to cry, I'll go sit in my room, listen to sad music and cry till I feel better. But I think I've been mistaking actually processing the emotion versus just feeling it. Like I let myself cry, but did I like really think about why that happened or why I'm crying or like how I can improve? No. So I think that's what I've been working on and like want to work on next year is like actually processing. And I'm hoping that therapy can help that. And then 2 more and then I'm done, I swear. But healthier lifestyle is like one of my big ones. Even though it's not number 9, it's actually like one of my most important ones for next year. But I don't even necessarily know that like it's going to be going to the gym X amount of times a week, because that's never been like a goal that works for me. But I think I need to find like an active routine that I actually enjoy. Like I know that I love rowing classes. So like maybe I'm just not a gym goer, and maybe I just need to start doing that. So that's kind of what my journey is this year, is like finding whatever physical activity, like maybe I'm going to class hop a little and like find something that actually works for me. And I want to start like kind of tracking my food and like my gut health to like eliminate foods that are causing me issues, because I don't have a sensitive stomach, but then I do at the same time. Like you could leave something on the counter and I could eat it and be fine, which is not great, but I mean, I can, like, I've always been like that. But in terms of, like, I get, like, bad GI symptoms or, like, bloating or, like, a lot of food triggers my migraines, like, stuff like that. I want to, like, figure out what's causing the issue and, like, be able to limit it so that I don't have those issues as much. And, like, again, I think, like, I'm always going to be a person, like, if potatoes are my issue, I'll never stop eating potatoes. It won't happen. Sorry. But, like, maybe if I know I have something big going on that day and I can't afford to be sick or not feeling great, maybe we don't eat a potato that day. And I want to start eating at home more and, like, improving my cooking skills and, like, finding a love for it. And I kind of feel like I'm, like, entering, like, my housewife era, low-key, or, like, hibernation. So I think we're going to do lots of vlogs on my, like, regular YouTube channel about that. So I'm just going to leave that there. And then last category is art and design. If you didn't already know, I am a graphic designer. And even though I'm not really, like, I don't know, I feel weird calling myself an artist, but I do craft and, like, do, like, design stickers and I do resin and, like, all that stuff. So in that aspect, I would say I'm also an artist, but, like, traditionally I'm a graphic designer. And I definitely think that I've kind of let that part of me go a little bit this year. I have a hard time being both, like, digitally creative and physically creative. So I feel like I'm in my digital era of, like, filming and, like, digital art, really. But I kind of want to get back into, like, creating art that, like, actually, like, fills my soul, but isn't just to sell stuff. Because I think that's what I've been doing recently. And, like, I just want to, like, fall in love again with, like, making things and, like, creating things with my hands directly from my brain. And, like, so that would be, like, getting back into, like, the physical art opposed to just strictly digital art. And, like, some digital art, I still look at stuff like that and I'm like, wow, I made that, like, with my Apple Pencil or whatever, but it still came from my brain. But I just think there's something to be said about, like, physically doing it. And that's what I'm excited to get back into. And that's a big part of why, or, like, what I plan to do on the YouTube channel I was just talking about that's not my podcast channel. I want to do a lot more, like, art and just, like, finding my creativity again. Maybe that'll be a series on that channel. Okay, let me keep that one in my mind. I'll probably forget it in 10 minutes, but I'll remember when I'm editing, so it's fine. And then this is more like digital art, but, like, as a graphic designer, things will always be changing, new techniques, new styles, new programs. So I just want to, like, fine tune my skills this year on, like, the programs that I already use a lot. And then I also want to learn more, like, techniques and things that I don't really implement in my, like, design process and kind of branch out a little bit. And then even more than that, I really want to advance, like, my skills in the Adobe programs, because I do know how to use, like, a good bit of them from college, but also, like, there's a difference between one class in college on it and, like, Illustrator. I use Illustrator every single day. So, like, Illustrator, I don't feel like I need to, like, really advance in that. But, like, After Effects, I learned it in college, but I don't really remember that much of it because I don't use it a lot. And I liked it and I was good at it when I did it. So I'd like to, like, learn how to use that again. Even though, like, I'm sure I would pick it up quick because I do know how to use it. But I just, like, want to find a way to actually use it in my regular life and, like, be good at it. So, yeah. I feel like that was a lot. And I just want it to be noted, you can have a ton of goals and you don't have to, like, start accomplishing them all January 1st. These are just things that, like different eras or seasons of my life next year that I'm, like, hoping to do, like, some improvement in. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited. I hope you stick around next year for the journey. And I'd love, especially if you're on the YouTube version and you can comment below, I would love to hear any of your goals for next year, or maybe anything you think I might want to add to my goals. Or if you heard me when I said the oily skin, oily hair, foundation, any bra, supportive bra, any of those things I asked about, please leave a comment on the YouTube video or just message me on the Instagram account because I don't even care. I need to know. So please help me. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all. I really hope that everybody has had a great 2022. And if you didn't, that's okay. I hope that next year is much better for you. And I hope that you're able to go into it like kind of optimistic that it's going to be better. Because I definitely went in from 2021 into 2022, like praying and begging that it was going to be a better year because 2021 was ass and it did end up being better. So I hope that gives you a little bit of hope, and I hope I see you bitches next Thursday. Have a great New Year's Eve. Don't get too drunk. I said that, but like, let's be honest, even though I just made that whole episode that I don't drink and then I drank right after and then I was like, I'm not drinking again. You will absolutely see a picture of me on the podcast page hungover on January 1st. So if you post one, tag me because I'd love to see that I'm not the only person suffering. But other than that, I will see you bitches next Thursday. Bye.